Tesla is being investigated by regulators after customers complained that their new Model Y's steering wheels detached while they were driving. Relax, that's just part of the autopilot, as in, you autopilot in the trap. Because all the parts fell off. I have got to get rid of this fucking thing. Every week it's a coffin on wheels. Fuck. Let's get into it. What a week. Most high-profile Republicans skip this year's CPAC, but when there's only a little milk left at the bottom of the container, it sure does curdle faster. Michael Knowles, a commentator for the Daily Wire, and what happens when you ask ChatGPT to turn saying, "Excuse me, but I'm in a bit of a rush here," to a middle-aged woman carrying a heavy tray into your personality, said this to cheers from the crowd.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. Transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely.
Knowles defended the comment, saying it's not a call for genocide because he said transgenderism, not transgender people, adding it's just an idea, like Judaism. There are a handful of words that should automatically send you plummeting through a trapdoor if you use them in a political speech, and eradicate is number one. Oh, the next word was going to be cancer? Should have said it faster. Meanwhile, our 50-50 shot at being our next president, Donald Trump, crammed. We're going to do this shit again? Learn your goddamn lessons. Our 60-40 shot at being our next president, Donald Trump, crammed an impressive number of lies into his speech at CPAC, slandering his ancient enemy, the windmill, saying this.
They want windmills all over the place that ruin our fields, kill our birds, and are very unreliable and are the most expensive energy ever developed.
Ah, yes, the windmills, known for their extremely expensive fuel. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said on Monday that the U.S. economy could experience a Wile E. Coyote moment as the Fed raises interest rates to tame inflation. Oh, I don't think it's all that bad, said Vice President Kamala Harris before running face first into a brick wall with a tunnel painted on it. And then, moments later, President Biden ran right through the tunnel that for her was solid. She really has an impossible job. A new batch of documents released as part of the Fox News Dominion defamation lawsuit revealed that Tucker Carlson was as sick of Trump as the rest of us after the 2020 election. On January 4th, 2021, Carlson texted a colleague, "We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait." Carlson added, "I hate him passionately." This raises the question, what other text did Tucker send that could have come from my phone? Does he text some Nazi grifter his Elden Ring build? Carlson wrote in another text, "That's the last 4 years. We're all pretending we got a lot to show for it because admitting what a disaster it's been is too tough to digest. But come on, there isn't really an upside to Trump. Dance like no one's watching, love like you've never been hurt, text like you'll never be sued for defamation by a voting machine company." Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted Fox News and Tucker Carlson for selectively using security footage from January 6th to claim it wasn't a violent insurrection.
Millions of Americans tuned in to one of the most shameful hours we have ever seen on cable television.
But enough about the premiere of John from Cincinnati in 2007. I take your note. Go back up. What is this, the final season of Game of Thrones? So here's the thing. John from Cincinnati, in and of itself, not shameful, but the fact that it cost us a 4th season of Deadwood. If you're listening to this at home, and that was for you, that was for you. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell told reporters it was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement officials here in the Capitol thinks. "I think it's bullshit," said North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. Utah Senator Mitt Romney agreed, saying it's really sad to see Tucker Carlson go off the rails like that. Continued Romney, "What is he, every train?" House Speaker Kevin, yeah. You're oohing the situation. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said he had no regrets about giving Carlson exclusive access to the footage. Said McCarthy, "I said from the very beginning, transparency." Kevin McCarthy is the political equivalent of having a container of fries in your hand and checking your watch. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? He's less than a step ahead. In other news, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders approved legislation this week that cut back on several child labor protections in Arkansas. This sounds pretty bad, but when it comes to Arkansas Republicans lowering a legal age limit, it's not the worst one we could imagine. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell was hospitalized for a concussion in D.C. after tripping and falling at a hotel during a private dinner. He is doing okay, but has shocked his colleagues by suddenly being incredibly kind and funny and generous, leaving his motorcade to visit with some of his unhoused neighbors and announcing his intent to push Senate Republicans to join him in reviving the child tax credit. He was laughing and taking in the warm sun, realizing he'd never stopped even once in all his years to feel these feelings, telling his wife Elaine that he wanted to go on a second honeymoon. That would really be like a first because now colors were brighter and he was alive. And how he felt for her, a love that taught him how to love the whole world. And as he entered the Senate chamber with a smile none of us has ever seen before on his face, a kind of far-off look of a man reborn with a copy of the child tax credit expansion in his pocket, boom, a Klieg light on a frayed rope fell from the rafters and clocked him on the head as Ted Cruz put a pair of shears back in his pocket. Mitch staggered for a moment and rubbed his head and said, "Where am I? What's happening?" At which point, Ted Cruz reminded the minority leader that he was there to oppose a budget bill that would use unspent fighter jet money to fix holes in school roofs. Sorry about that, everybody. Mitch is back. The fact that producer Brian had to invite you to applaud. Next time I'll just show you animals, a turtle falling down the stairs. In my absolute favorite story of the week, Tennessee Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, who has a history of championing anti-LGBTQ legislation, was dragged online after screenshots of him publicly liking and commenting on a gay young man's thirst traps were circulated on social media. Look at these things. Look at them. Now, look. Have I left comments like these? Sure. Comments like, "Love it." "Super look, Finn." "Just 3 hearts and 3 flame emojis." And my favorite, "Finn, you can turn a rainy day into rainbows and sunshine." This is the Lieutenant Governor, Republican. He is a great-grandfather. He is pursuing anti-gay, anti-trans bills. And at night, when he gets off work to unwind, he goes super fucking horny. Bless him for using his official Instagram account to leave these comments. As newsrooms get slashed, it is incumbent on politicians to do their weird secret shit completely out in the open. McNally also commented on one of McClure's nudes. "Great picture, Finn. Best wishes for continued health and happiness." One note, and I do think this is important, Finn is not a name that this person uses publicly. It is a nickname that the Lieutenant Governor is drawing from his private correspondence with this person. It is cool that no level of horniness can overcome old person posting patterns. McNally is about to burst into flames of unmet sexual desire and still commenting stuff like, "Very nice, I hope for your success in all your future endeavors." Said McNally spokesperson in a statement, and this is real, trying to imply something sinister or inappropriate about a great-grandfather's use of social media says more about the mind of the left-wing operative making the implication than it does about Randy McNally. Yeah, shame on you filthy-minded libs. It's because of you that great-grandfathers can't innocently comment, "Keep up the good work" on young men showing hole anymore. The spokesman went on to say, does he always use the proper emoji at the proper time? Maybe not. You see, in the Lieutenant Governor's Day, eggplant emoji followed by sweaty face emoji meant "May Christ be with you." Amazing. Marianne Williamson officially announced her bid for the presidency this week, telling reporters, "I'm not challenging Joe Biden, I'm challenging the system." She's right about the first part. George and Kellyanne Conway have announced that they are in the final stages of getting a divorce after 22 years of marriage. And so today we send our condolences to all the politically engaged couples out there with marriages on the rocks who console themselves by thinking, "We have problems, but look at that." Michelle Obama shared on her new podcast that she broke down and cried for 30 minutes straight shortly after leaving Trump's inauguration. I see Michelle is finally coming around to my motto from high school: when they go low, we go cry. I'm fine, I do this now. Toblerone will no longer be able to feature the Matterhorn on its packaging after the company shifted some production out of Switzerland and became insufficiently Swiss to claim the association under Swiss law. Switzerland, we take a stand on the important stuff. Food manufacturers are now complaining that the FDA's new guidelines around added sugar and other ingredients would mean almost no packaged foods would be allowed to be labeled healthy. It's real. In response to no longer being able to pretend their products are healthy, ConAgra, the parent company of Healthy Choice, said this: "It is our strong conviction that if FDA's proposal is adopted in its current form, companies like ConAgra will have every incentive to shift their innovation efforts away from products labeled as healthy and toward less healthy options," which is an amazing threat. Like a movie mobster standing over a weeping, bleeding form threatening to hurt him. You think you're fat now, America? We've still got the corn syrup phaser set to stun. We will jam hoses down your beaks like the foie gras geese you are. We will hide sugar in everything. You will go to bed stuffed and wake up sticky, you motherfuckers. Meanwhile, an appeals court ruled that dairy companies in the U.S. can call their cheese Gruyere, even though it wasn't produced in the Gruyere region of Switzerland. An attorney representing the plaintiff told reporters it's a surprising outcome, especially since this case is about abortion rights. I love that one. According to the BBC, the chrism oil, that is the sacred oil that will be used to anoint King Charles III at his coronation, will be animal cruelty-free this time around. In past coronations, the ritual has been conducted with civet oil from civet glands and ambergris, which comes from whale intestines, because otherwise it doesn't work. But this new chrism oil isn't fooling me. You can clearly taste the difference. The workplace messaging app Slack announced plans to incorporate ChatGPT into its platform, where it will help users write faster replies to their coworkers. Though it doesn't work very well, Hallie sent me a batch of monologue jokes today, and my Slack kept replying, "Thanks, they should sell Ozempic at McDonald's." Next month, Amazon is planning to launch its brand new NFT marketplace. That's the beauty of a company like Amazon. They have the scale of a government, but the speed and innovation of a startup, so they can pounce on an idea like an NFT marketplace and launch it right in the white-hot moment when people are demanding it most. Meanwhile, Tesla is being investigated by regulators after customers complained that their new Model Y's steering wheels detached while they were driving. Relax, that's just part of the autopilot, as in, you autopilot in the trap. Because all the parts fell off. I have got to get rid of this fucking thing. Every week it's a coffin on wheels. Fuck. The only reluctance in saying that is I'm worried about the resale value. I gotta offload this fucking Tesla. The fuck? Get an electric car, it'll be great. Oh, he's a Nazi grifter on the internet all the time. I didn't know. And the worst thing is, I'm talking about it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I really can't wait to bask in the reflected glory of this fucking brand. When I got the Tesla, I felt weird. Then I got the thing, sat in my driveway for a whole pandemic. By the time I got in it, he was a goddamn monster. I didn't have one good day. Anyway, a lightly used... If anyone's in the market for a lightly used blue 2020 Model Y with 12,000 miles and the scent of screams from the inside... Steering wheel is attached. Does rattle like a bitch, though. You really when you're in a Tesla, it really lets you know you're on the highway. feels like it feels like it was made by a kid for one of those boxcar derbies. You know, like it was a dad and a son in the basement trying to bond. Using a drill bit for the third time. That's what it feels like. You're like, just. But don't worry, it does also still drive itself, so you can drive with your eyes closed. A Washington Post investigation found that a group of Catholic philanthropists spent millions on app data they used to identify gay priests. Actually, half the money was spent on app data. The other half was paying Pedro Pascal to do a little dance in the narthex. Joe Rogan opened the doors to his comedy mothership, a new comedy club that has been billed as being anti-cancel culture. I just flew into the comedy mothership and boy, are my premises tired. You can mock it, but women agree it's a perfect last date spot. Disgraced Dilbert creator Scott Adams, whose comic strip was dropped by countless newspapers after his racist YouTube rant, announced plans to launch his own private subscription service. Dilbert Reborn. That's right, folks. It's Dilbert Plus. Finally, Scott Adams will have his own platform to freely espouse the incredibly subversive message of Dilbert. Boy, is work boring sometimes. At a party during Paris Fashion Week, Avril Lavigne and Tyga were seen kissing, confirming rumors of their relationship. He was a skater boy. She died in 2003. A recent essay revealed that Julia Roberts was set to star in 1998's Shakespeare in Love, only to quit after they criticized her British accent. Oi, Romeo! Oi! Oi, Romeo! Romeo! What's all this then? Why do they make me so embarrassing? An American Airlines passenger was banned from flying with the airline after allegedly urinating on his seatmate, which I feel bad about because I did ask for it. Three people were recently arrested in Japan in connection with a viral video that depicts a young man drinking straight from a restaurant's soy sauce bottle in what has been called an act of sushi terrorism. But that's politics. One person's sushi terrorist is another person's sushi freedom fighter. I don't care. Colombia is considering a transfer of over 70 of Pablo Escobar's hippopotamuses to India and Mexico as part of a plan to control their population. I don't know why Colombia wants to control India and Mexico's population, but 70 cocaine-crazed hippos should do the trick. And finally, a Massachusetts man was sentenced to probation for illegally capturing wild hares in Maine for the purpose of training dogs. The man had originally planned to plead not guilty, but his lawyer advised him to be very, very quiet.